Great morning. This is Bob, Pastor Bob from Ascension Healing Fellowship. And yes, by the way, I have a toboggan on my head. And yes, I am wearing a hoodie. It's cold in my house. A lot of snow on the ground. Terribly sorry. We were off last week. I was really sick, and I am trying to get healthier even as we speak. So, yes, I am wearing a toboggan on my head. There is a record snowfall outside my door, and I've been out playing with my puppy already this morning, trying to make sure she got as much snow time as she could. So, with all that in mind, welcome back. It's great to see you. Hope you enjoy this message. Today, we're kicking off February. Today is February the 1st of 2026, and all this month, we're going to be talking about a very different kind of love. And this, to me, is a crucial understanding to really grasp who God is and what God is and why that's so important. So I want us to start with a real simple exercise, as we all do, and just to breathe in perfect love, breathe out is limitless. Breathe in perfect love is limitless. Keep meditating like that while I read you today's passage. Ephesians 3:14 through 19. For this reason I bow my knees before the Father, from whom every family in heaven and on earth is named, that according to the riches of his glory he may grant you to be strengthened with divine power through his Spirit in your inner being, so that Christ may dwell in your hearts through faith, that you, being rooted and grounded in love, may have strength to comprehend with all the saints what is the breadth and length and height and depth, and to know the love of Christ that surpasses knowledge, that you may be filled with all the fullness of God. Ephesians 3:14 through 19. So I want to kind of give you some context of what's going on here. Paul is inviting the church in Ephesus to pray. And he says, I'm bending my knee, I'm bowing my head, I'm getting in a prayer position or a meditative state, like what we would say in many Buddhist circles. I'm getting in a position to communicate with the divine in a formal way. And this is what he says. He talks about comprehending the love of God. He talks about, first of all, he talks about every family, every being, everything. He encompasses all as being in the divine. Whenever he talks about this, he says, from whom every family in heaven and on earth is named. Everybody is covered by this perfect love. All. And that's where the peace that passes all understanding comes from. He goes on to explain that the riches of the divine, the true riches of the divine, is to experience this love. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that later on, as far as what that means to experience this love. But he's talking in here about the idea that this love is as big as it is and as massive as it is. In fact, he talks about the vastness, a word for bigness of measure. And he talks about how vast this love is, how amazing this love is. Because you see, Paul had experienced it. And we're going to get into this word experience here in just a few minutes. But he dives into the immeasurable nature of Christ's love, the immeasurable. He talks in here of the immeasurable status of that. And what does that mean for you? And what does that look like for our world? I've struggled, especially lately, as I've seen some terrible things happen in my country, actually, for some time now. But they kind of came to a head, and they've been some challenging moments, not just for the United States, but for the whole world. We've got some very, very big challenges ahead of us, and we've got some very big, painful moments that are happening now. So I want to just make sure that you understand that this is a very different kind of love, just like what we're talking about all month long. It's a very different kind of love. You see, human love says, oh, well, it's just one way. It's just, this is love. This is just the way that love works. Perfect love is different. And the vastness of that is what we experience. Now, what does that look like? It looks like sometimes we're going to have challenging days. It looks like some days the air conditioner or the heater system won't work. And it looks like some days you're going to be sick. And it looks like some days you're going to struggle. And your country's going to struggle. And somehow to have faith in that rest, to be able to get back to that moment of rest and that moment of peace, that's where faith really grows. So the immeasurable nature of Christ's love is what we're talking about here in Ephesians 3:14 through 19. Now, the next thing he gets into is the dimensions. And I love this part because he mentions some very specific things about the breadth and the width and the just the size. And what that does is it says this love encompasses all parts of everything. Does that always look pleasant? Does that always look happy, happy, joy, joy? No, it doesn't. It doesn't. Does this always look the way we wish it would? I'm pretty sure Paul didn't really want to be shipwrecked. I'm pretty sure Jesus, before he got arrested, didn't want to get crucified. I'm pretty sure that a lot of things would have changed had people had things the way that a certain element of themselves wanted. But you see, we're called to move into a spiritual dynamic and to understand our spirit self, our soulful self. And that self is the self that accepts all, accepts whatever happens, accepts whatever comes our way, and we see it for what it is. It's all part of the divine gift. Think on that for a moment. Think on that for a moment. It covers all aspects of all beings. So let me just give you a couple of examples. And these always come up. Well, a loving God wouldn't have created an ark and killed all the people, right? Noah and the flood. One of the things I've learned is that I'm not really responsible for explaining God. And I don't want to get in the business of trying to do that. I don't want to get in the business of trying to explain a love that goes beyond my comprehension. Because when I get into that mode, then my spirit gets weighed down. My soul gets weighed down. Do I have certain views that I have and certain things that I think are right and wrong? Yes, I do. Do I think that the love of God operates even outside of those ideas of right and wrong? Yes, I do. I've lived all over the world. I've been very blessed to be in a lot of countries and to not only live all over the world, but visit another, 15, 16, 17 countries, something like that. So all that to say, with all that background, yes, even those moments that don't look right to our culture, even those moments that don't look right to what we think is right, even there, God's love is there. Can't explain it. Again, I don't want to get into any kind of trying to explain God. I don't do it. There's no point. I'm not God. Here's what I simply say. Perfect love is beyond human comprehension. Now, a lot of people are going to disagree with that, and I get it. Because remember, there's two sets of eyes that we have. There's human eyes that see things in human ways that we can understand and we can comprehend in our logic mind. But then there's the soul's eyes. And the soul's eyes are a completely different set of eyes. They see with the soul. They see with the soul. And that's a totally different conversation. And that's what Paul is talking about here. Paul is talking about the fact that this love is not knowledge-based, it's experiential-based. And if you want to see what that looks like, well, watch the news, but don't watch it for very long because it'll corrupt you. What's happening in the world today is a great opportunity to see the experiential base of God's perfect love. So what do I mean by experiential based? Well, there will be experiences when you think that God has forsaken you, that God has forsaken your country. There will be moments when your country is being moved into slavery, and there will be moments when all kinds of things are happening. And you need to keep coming back to this idea. I believe and have faith that perfect love is in control. I believe and have faith that perfect love is still embracing my soul. I believe and have faith that perfect love is with that person too and with that event too. And those are the moments. That's the time when perfect love grows. That's the time when faith grows. Faith doesn't grow in a nice warm house when everything is toasty and the heater works well. Faith grows when the heating and cooling system doesn't work and it's like -6 wind chill factor outside. That's when perfect love and faith in perfect love grows. So, something for you to consider. Knowledge based is not experiential based. Resting in the unseen. Resting in the unseen, even in the midst of seeing that causes tremendous pain and suffering. That's a challenge. That's a great challenge. So here's what I would encourage you to do in this next week. I would encourage you to think of something that you just feel is really, that you struggle with. That you go, God, how can you be loving and be like that? And then I just encourage you to take that into a time of meditation and go, I will rest in perfect love's outcome. I will rest in perfect love's outcome. You see, I've had to do this because as a 11-year-old boy, my dad, my superhero, died. And I've struggled with that for years and years and years. I struggled with that. And what really helped me was this amazing meditation teacher. And I've talked a little bit about that when she taught me how to see the divine come down and to wrap their arms around me and just to rock me back and forth, just like my dad did about 5 months before he passed. He just rocked me back and forth on our front stoop. And to be able to see the divine doing that to me and with me the day that I was told that my dad had passed, it has been life-changing. It really has. Listen, I'm going to go try and get warm, but I wanted to do this message because I love you and I want you to know how loved you are. You are loved beyond human comprehension. So this week, find something that you struggle with and just breathe in and say, perfect love is embracing this too. Perfect love has this in their loving arms right now. And begin to visualize that and begin to see that and see if that changes something. See if that helps something shift in you. Hope this blesses you. Love you guys. We'll chat soon.